Warning: the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. It's the week of June 17th, 2021. This is episode 233, and I'm your host, Kris Randazzo. Joining me tonight, as always, is Last Chance Kitchen, Karen Randazzo.
Please pack your knives and go.
Actual Highlander, Angie Fernot.
I love cake.
And Master of the Universe, Evan Goldstein.
Duck.
Tonight on the news desk, renewals and cancellations abound. Mouse Rat goes gold, Batman gets reanimated, and much more. But first, how's it going?
I should have said something relevant to Highlander. I don't know where I went with the cake. I just, cake or death.
He didn't, warn you that he was going to say something about Highlander with your name.
No, he didn't. It's true. Listeners.
I just happened to have a Top Chef quote, locked and loaded.
Yeah, that was
As
scary.
you always do. It's kind of weird, Karen.
I know, and then you said something Top Chef, and I started thinking about Great British Baking Show, and I was like, well, how do I... Nope, can't make it work. That's fine. I love cake. All right, moving on.
You know what? I thought it worked great. I was impressed. The flow was delightful.
Guys, can I talk about what I'm watching first? Because it's the shortest list ever.
No.
Cool. Okay. Good night. Bye.
I'm just kidding, Angie. Let's kick things off because fair warning to all five listeners, we're tired.
Yeah.
So Angie, tell us, what have you been watching? I want to know. I need to know.
I know everybody needs to know, because you want to know what I've been watching? I have been watching Black Sails. Okay.
Ooh,
why?
that's a pirate show, right?
It is. Do you want to know why I'm watching a pirate show, Kris and
Because
Karen?
pirates are awesome?
Yes, that is very true. Any other guesses?
I have none.
I can't guess.
Do you have
I
a
know
thing
the
for
answer.
eye patches?
God, if only I did. You know,
It's
the
pirates.
function behind the eye patch was actually for when they would go below. Never mind. Okay, so it's not just about missing eyes, people. It's about vision. Okay,
It's about peg legs.
there is a guy with one of those, but that's besides the point. I'm watching that show because I'm actually drawing a pirate comic right now.
Hooray!
Yeah, so it's a rewatch. I love it, and I forgot how much I loved it, and there's definitely a lot of boobs in it. Sorry, Evan, because I tried to make him watch it with me when I first started this, and he was
There's nothing to be sorry
And
about.
we all know
I
how
like
much
boobs.
Evan hates boobs.
It's
Yeah,
the
right?
fact of the matter is that every time you sit me down to watch a show, it has an incredible amount of boobs that when I sit there, I can't, what am I supposed to do with you sitting on the couch beside me? Go, hey, hun, look at those boobs?
yes!
See, no,
I don't know
that's
why
not
you
normal.
wouldn't. I'm usually the one who's like, babe, look at that rack. Come on.
Not gonna lie, she does have more porn on her computer than I do.
We do have a
On mine.
gross imbalance of boob pics in our relationship and commentary, and I'm usually the one who keeps it running. It's so disappointing. But aside from that, I'm watching that. And Karen,
You're watching me?
guess what I finished? I am always watching you. You just don't know it, and it's real creepy. You should definitely close your blinds.
I got a feeling that Angie's
That
watching
literally,
me.
skewed me out a little. I was, looking around wait, what blinds where? There's no blinds here in the basement.
12 hours away,
Blinds in the house.
also.
That is true.
You guys didn't know I could teleport? Oh, listen, for
I
Karen's
just
boobs.
assumed
I
you had an
just-
elaborate network of cameras.
yeah.
Mirrors and cameras and lights and whatnot.
No, guess what I finished? Guess what I finished?
Oh, it's hurting my brain because I can't remember anything.
Black Sails?
There's this really annoying mom and her dumb teenage daughter, and
Ginny in Georgia.
yeah, I finished it.
I'm proud of you.
Well, I
How do you
said
like
that
it?
I would. I was kind of just meh at the ending. Like when shit was gonna hit the fan, especially because that lady was going through her desk. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be really cool. I can't wait to see how all this stuff plays out. And then they resolved it really quickly, and it actually made sense, and I was kind of like, fuck you, good writing. I was kind
You
of
were
like,
here for the shit show and it didn't happen.
right? But at the same time, a lot of things are occurring, and a lot more of the story makes sense. I just got really mad at Ginny for just taking her brother and running. I think that the reaction of all of her friends actually makes sense for teenage girls. And I think that what she's doing makes sense for her character. So it's not necessarily that it's poorly written. I'm just fucking mad about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have to say, now that you've seen it all, the thing with the fireworks, I was like, oh, you're right. You should do it. That's exactly what you should do in that situation.
So for anyone who doesn't know what we're referring to, she took a man's ashes that she she killed the man, undoubtedly. She took his ashes. She had him cremated.
There was a private eye closing in on the fact that, like, discovering the fact that she had committed the murder, and all he needed was, like, the body to prove it.
Yep. And so she had someone dig up the body and then cremate it, and then she had the ashes in her closet. And at one point, the kids kind of like found the bag, but they were rifling, looking for something else. They didn't realize what it was. And then when her daughter figures it out, she runs back to the closet, and the ashes are gone. And then the freaking private eye is standing next to her, and she's like, sometimes, you know, the best way to move on is just, I don't even remember what she says. And then she like looks up and she's basically saying, yeah, I took those ashes and I put them in the fireworks and now people are like covered in this man's ashes, essentially. So have fun with these tiny bits of DNA that you can't collect because I lit them on fire in the sky.
Oh, but like just the little step further than that, the reason that she killed the guy is because it was her husband, but then he started touching her daughter in inappropriate ways. And that's exactly what you do with the body of someone who does that.
Yeah.
First you poison them and get away with murder and collect their life insurance, and then you grave dig their body and burn it and blow it up all over the town.
Yeah, she's definitely a
That's
criminal.
the best thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
The
yes.
grave digging is not a necessary step. You could just skip the digging of the grave in the first place and just go straight to the burning. But if you've already gone that far, yes, dig up the body and then burn it.
Yeah. So, so she's she's definitely not a good person. She's kind of a villain, but like weirdly likable because I feel like it's got a lot to do with the context of where she came from and who she was. So, damn it, Karen, I want season 2 now.
Yay! I
Yep.
converted you.
You did it. Well done.
I did it. Yay me.
And yeah, that's it. Other than that, my life is entirely based on work. I just work. Guys, did you know I have work? Okay, that's it. Moving on.
Work.
Yep. And back to you guys. Who else is watching things? Someone please entertain me more than I just entertain nobody.
Well, let's switch over to Evan. What has Evan been watching?
I am still on my Bill Lawrence kick. I'm watching a hell of a lot of Spin City, and I love that show. I like Michael J. Fox. I haven't finished his run of the show yet, so I don't remember how much I liked when Tiger Blood guy. What's that?
Tiger Blood.
You know who I'm talking about. Whatever that guy's name
Charlie
was.
Sheen.
That's the one. When he takes over, I can't remember.
You're welcome.
I wasn't gonna
Y'all
give it to you.
forgot about the Tiger Blood, didn't you? I didn't.
I did. There was another show by Bill Lawrence called Undateable that I turned on the first episode of the first season, and the laugh track was so over the top that I actually had to shut it off. Usually I don't notice those things, but it was so bad that I like 98% sure I'm not going to be able to watch that show. We caught up on a bunch of episodes of Clarice, which we like quite a bit. It's a really, really well done show.
Very dramatic. Very like it's kind of heavy, but not as heavy as like the dramas that I enjoy, like Black Sail. So I don't know if that helps.
The woman who plays Clarice is doing a phenomenal job of that character. My nephew has just got into Thomas the Tank Engine.
So Thomas and Friends.
Thomas and Friends. So there's 400 plus episodes on my Plex now because I'm a good uncle.
Jesus.
Yeah,
We watched,
I had to do research to see how much of Thomas there was, and there is a lot of Thomas and
Fuck yeah,
Friends.
there is.
If he's
Holy
anything like our kids, he'll look at the first 3 episodes and then just watch them over and over again.
And over and over
Oh,
and
great.
over again. Yeah.
Well, you know, there's like 6 seasons of this. Like, there's tons of stuff you haven't seen before. Yeah, I know. I like this one. Okay.
There's 21 seasons of Thomas and Friends. And like, lastly, I'm watching MODOK. Marvel's MODOK.
That's not
Oh,
last,
right.
by
We
the
started
way.
watching that too.
That's not last?
No, we watched I'll Be There For You.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I wanted to give you that one, babe.
Appreciate that.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm watching MODOK because Angela, I watched the first episode and I know she's not going to have any interest in this at all. I'm like really close to saying like this is like for me it's a swing and a miss by Marvel. Like I'm not feeling it. I'm trying. It's a really weird premise and there's the attempt of a lot of jokes and not a lot of them are hitting. So I was never a big fan of the MODOK character himself, so maybe that's doing it.
We also watched the first, I think, 2 episodes and then stopped.
Yeah, we watched to the one where he traveled through time or whatever, and it seemed like it should have been a win, right?
It should have been.
I think Robot Chicken's funny. I love Patton Oswalt. This is kind of the only take on this character I'd be interested in watching, and yeah, no, it's just not. It didn't land. I have no interest, no desire to keep watching it.
Yeah, I'm halfway through the 3rd episode, and like they have that whole MODOK versus the conglomerate company thing that's trying to take over AIM, and I'm like, that seems like an unnecessary line. It's just for jokes, but it's not. I wanted to make it because apparently Wonder Man starts showing up, and that's voiced by Nathan Fillion, and I want to get to that, but I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know if I can make it, so we'll see. And yes, lastly, Angela and I watched the Friends reunion, which I enjoyed the hell out of.
I did too. Evan was like, he was like, "Are you crying?" And I was like,
Oh yeah, there was
"Yes,
a lot of
I
emotion.
am." And for the record, like I haven't really seen all of Friends. I've only seen a few episodes here and there, but apparently I caught a lot of the good ones when he was doing his rewatch because I got a decent number of references. But I saw the pivot sketch for the first time when they were talking about it and showing the behind the scenes thing. And I almost peed my pants.
I mean, because the scene itself is funny, but then they show the other stuff that happened off.
Like the cast reacting.
Oh, that stuff is so funny. And there was a scene where in one of the episodes Ben Stiller makes an appearance and he's overly angry. And they showed the behind the scenes of him yelling at the duck and the chicken. Oh my god. So funny. If you are a fan of Friends, it is great.
And if you're not a fan of Friends, I still think that there's something to be taken from it because it was so important to pop culture, and I didn't realize how many people it has reached.
It's true.
Yes, if you're not a fan of Friends because you are a young person, congratulations. But yeah, it's a good way to I think appreciate a bit of television history, good, bad, and otherwise.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed quite a bit. You know, reminiscing about a show that I truly enjoyed and seeing all the backstories and whatnot. It was just fun. It was a good reunion show. What's that guy's name that I don't like? The host?
James Corden.
Yeah.
He wasn't over the top though.
He was just I don't.
He was all right. He was just doing his thing.
It was just some.
Look,
some
I don't know what your
weird
problem
pulls.
is, but knock it off. James Corden's great.
Okay, I'm sorry, my mistake. I apologize.
Listen,
Gaga
you've done
were
it. You've convinced
fantastic
him.
in the episode.
you can have an opinion, honey, but just not that one.
Just not the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm too tired to explain why you're wrong.
And on
It's
that
okay,
note,
Evan. I'm not crazy about him either. He's fine.
It's there could have been so many other people hosting that.
like Lady Gaga.
That was a weird pull for me.
She
too.
sure was there, I think.
She was.
there.
She was there. But yeah, it was fun. So yeah, that's what we've been watching. It's been kind of a week. Hopefully,
Yeah,
this week we'll be getting into some more stuff.
Nope.
It's been something. Karen, would you like to go next, or do you want me to
Sure,
dive
I can
in?
go very quickly.
Go for
I
it.
have seen two things. I have been watching more Friday Night Lights, and now mid-season 2. I only have a couple of things to say. One is that first season is like a perfect season of television, especially the last 4 episodes. It's just everything comes together and gels so well in those last 4 episodes. It's like, I just don't even know it. Like, perfection, television perfection. They should teach it in school, and like television school, whatever.
Nice.
Film school.
And then in season 2, they have this whole plot that goes on for like 12 episodes, where one of the characters in season 1 was attacked and fended off her attacker. And it was like some random dude that you could have, like, he could have rode off and you never saw him again. And it was just a thing that happened in this person's life. But in season 2, they had the guy come back and like stalk her.
Oh.
And then and then attack her again, but her boyfriend or friend who had a crush and was gonna be her boyfriend, whatever. This guy comes upon them while she's getting attacked, and he had found her after she got attacked the first time. This time he was there as it was happening, and he beat the crap out of the guy, and then he was walking away, and the boyfriend picked up a pipe and hit the guy upside the back of the head and killed him.
Okay.
This person who committed this crime is a high school junior,
Oh, Jesus.
and then like they're not sure if he's breathing or if he's alive or whatever, and they're trying to drive him to the hospital, and then he dies, and they dump the body in the river. And the guy's dad is a cop, and so like, and the body washes up, and the dad knows something. It is the dumbest thing ever. It goes on forever.
I don't know. It sounds pretty riveting to me.
But it's so bad, and there's so much like, and now they can't be together because the dad suspects something's up, and he thinks it's the girl's fault, and you know what happens in the end? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. The guy tells him, the boyfriend like confesses to the cops, comes clean, and they're like, well, you're a cop's son, so like, we're gonna let you off. And he's like, no, I did this, I deserve to be punished. And he's like, no, it's bad. And the dad is like, I can't handle you going to prison, so you're going to tell them that you were in fear for your life and your friend's life, because you were, right? And he's like, well, I guess so, yes. And then no charges are pressed. And the whole fucking thing goes away. And it's like it never happened after that. It's like it's never happened. And the boyfriend in this scenario is best friends with like the main character in the show. And you know what he has to say about it? Nothing, because nobody ever told him anything while it was happening. He had no freaking involvement in this scenario at all, that his best friend murdered somebody and then covered it up.
I don't know what you're talking about, Karen. This sounds like some prime writing.
Horrible. Just awful. And like, if you're gonna watch this show, I still endorse you watching this show, but when you're watching season 2 and there are scenes with Landry and Tyra and the whole freaking murder thing, just skip them. Just fast forward through and get back to the football and the romance and the like whatever drama. Just fucking skip that part. Oh, I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be keeping it tight, honey. Do you want to kick off yours? Oh, I forgot to say the other thing which I'm watching, which I finally started watching, Discovery of Witches. I'm enjoying it very much.
Okay.
I like to call it Sexy, Sexy Vampires and Witches.
Sexy,
I know there are
sexy
demons
vampire,
too, but they
you know?
don't really seem to be doing much so far in season 1. I'm
that
like
won't
halfway
really
through.
change. Nope, stays the same.
It's very watchable because Matthew Good, really.
Really? Really?
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, get a chin, bro. Okay, so
I don't know. He's very intense, and I like that.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like he never blinks. It's like someone's constantly shining a flashlight in his eyes.
No, see, I think when he gets like the bewitching or whatever that's going on, where
Emotions?
where he can't like let go, or he's like, you need to run now, or like, I don't know, I'm gonna kill you. That's a little scary, but other than that, I'm like, whew, yes, please, Matthew, good.
Oh, God.
I like it. I'm a little mad because they were like, guess what? Alex Kingston is in this show. And then she's in it like every other episode for 2 minutes. I'm like, give me more Alex Kingston. Give it to me right now. God damn it.
Wow.
But I gather she will have more of a part later. So,
Yeah.
I know. I guess you're just going to have to wait until I finish, until I get there.
Honey.
Did you have something to say about it?
I just told Evan a little bit about the character.
Oh.
Yeah. With sign language, because we can do that.
We thought about it. We have a mental connection.
Yeah. I just turned and looked at him really, really hard, kind of like Matthew, whatever his face looks at.
There was no chin involved
You
at
know?
all.
Yeah. But I opened my eyes really wide and pretended I was staring into the sun.
Wow,
Okay.
no love lost for Matthew Good, huh?
I just had a hard time with him, and I think he does it more in the second season. And it got to the point where I was like, you're not acting, you're just having a staring contest with the camera. And I just like,
And the camera blinked. Wait a minute.
right? Like I got frustrated, and I was like, the camera is not Chuck Norris. It's okay. Like, I just need you to stop now. But I do very much like a lot of the things that he does as a character. Like as a character, the actor, I think, makes that character tolerable, because otherwise I'd be like, ugh, go away. So I do like the actor. I just like, I can respect your view that he is attractive. I just don't see
Just
it.
don't agree. It's okay.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you on this one. Have you seen him in other things?
No.
He was in Downton Abbey, and he was very likable and very charming and very, hot in that. So I think
Nice.
that may have helped with my Matthew Good appreciation.
I would watch him in anything else that he's in, though, because I do think he's a good actor. So
Yes, very
yeah.
true. He is selling the hell out of what can be at times kind of silly stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Now, dear, did you want to start with the Justice League that we've been watching with the kids?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll start with some Justice League. Yeah, I forgot all about that to mention that. Yeah, we've still been watching Justice League with the kids. We got to the first part of Starcrossed tonight.
Nice.
Which I was curious what they'd make of, because I freaking love Starcrossed. That was that blindsided me when I
far
watched it
into
when
the
this
season
originally
is that?
aired. Starcrossed is where we find out that Hawkgirl's been a spy the entire time.
How far into that? How far into the show is that?
That's the end of Justice League. After this is when it becomes Unlimited.
Unlimited. So that's the end of season 3.
Two.
Two.
There's only 2 seasons of just regular Justice League.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, we watched the first one of that, and it seemed to make more sense to John. I think Ellie was just way too tired to pay any attention to like real plot points, but that was it's a fun episode, and I'm just really looking forward to the next one where the secret identities come out and they're all on the run, and man, good
Good
times.
stuff.
And so we'll be done with that this week, and then next week we'll start Unlimited, right?
Yeah, I see no reason not to just keep going.
Right. No, that's exciting.
So you guys, just to be clear, you watch this stuff as like a family unit?
Yep.
Yes. Every night after dinner, we watch an episode of Justice League.
You're so much cooler than
whatever.
everyone.
Thanks. The kids have been very much enjoying my rendition of the Justice League theme song, and I hope they will equally appreciate my Justice League Unlimited theme song.
I'm certain that they will.
You should share it with the audience, Karen.
I'm too tired to sing, but like if I don't sing it, then they'll like look at me and think, "Mommy," and I'm like, "Justice League, da da, Justice League, da 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 da." Justice League.
She came up with this back when we watched this show together, back like when we were
dating.
first started
like,
dating or something.
15 years ago.
I was like, you should watch this show, and then she watched it with me because she was a good girlfriend.
And it's still relevant today.
Yup.
And here I am 20 years later, 15 years later, singing this dumb song I made up as a dumb young person. And my kids are like, this is the best, Mommy. You have to sing it every time.
This is the actual theme song, Justice League.
Yes, somebody give me some royalty checks.
On the complete opposite side of the animated spectrum, I had a little bit of time to myself the other night, and I had laundry to fold, so I couldn't play video games. So I decided to catch 2 more episodes of The Bad Batch, and I was very bored.
Oh.
No.
Ooh,
I mean,
forgot something.
it's fine, but I mean, I got to the episode that had Ming Na's character in it from Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, all right.
Wow,
fine.
really? A Ming Na appearance, and it was just all right?
I mean,
upsetting.
she was fine, but it was like, so they had to do this one thing where they found some lady that was used to work with the jet. So Ming Na's character was after the little girl that's with them, and so they were like, well, she's clearly a bounty hunter. We got to figure out who hired her. So they went and found this lady who works with used to work with the Jedi, who was an informant, and in order for her to help them, they had to do a job for her, which was to rescue a Rancor, which was being rescued for Jabba, but it wasn't the same Rancor that was in Return of the Jedi. I don't know, it was weird. It was fine. That was the thing. Everything about it was just fine. But there's nothing about this that's striking me as overly exciting. Now, it does seem to be moving in a direction, if I've been following the news. There's something happening in the comic books that brings back a character from Solo, which is interesting. Like, so Dave Filoni's making some big moves, like moving set pieces around. Like,
Okay.
something's gonna happen, but I don't. This Bad Batch show just is not clicking for me. It's not the worst of Clone Wars. You know, it's not like, oh, here's a random 6-episode arc about a bunch of droids that mean nothing to anyone. But it's also just I'm not connected to these characters, and it's just not doing it for me. Which, you know, whatever. I'll keep watching it when I have time because it says Star Wars on it, but it's not really grabbing me. Karen and I have been watching some Top Chef, which is cool. We haven't watched that show regularly in a long time, and that's been some really nice comfort food.
Get out.
Yes, it's got a very familiar rhythm to it. This season seems to be like less drama intense than past seasons. There's no villain, there's no asshole in the cast. There's just everybody's nice. It was filmed during COVID, so they did some interesting things with that. And they're also doing some really interesting things with like being like just culturally aware and some social justice things. They have some, like, it's being filmed in Seattle, which was the center of like a lot of
I thought it was Portland.
Oh, Portland, you're right. Sorry, I was just thinking Pacific Northwest and my brain went to Seattle. But yeah, it was filmed in Portland, Oregon, and there was like some, you know, very nasty clashes between the police and black protesters there last year while this was going on. So they did an episode about like how African cuisine like influenced basically every American cuisine there is. And like they all had to cook African cuisine, and they did like you know, they did an episode like honoring the native people of that area using like the ingredients that they would have used, that the people in that culture would have used before, you know, Americans came along and made everything terrible. So lots of good stuff going. Good job, Top Chef. Way to be a good show and like be responsible and not just be a show with a bunch of white people doing white people things.
I don't know what you're talking about. White people doing white people things sounds so much cooler than anything else.
I mean, that's pretty much my entire life, but I am a white person. And I do
And
white people
actively
things,
doing white people
like
things.
watch Star Wars and podcast. I'm doing it right now. Well, that was fun. But honestly, the big thing, the big deal, the thing that we watched that I could not get enough of, and there damn well better be a season 2, is Sweet Tooth.
Oh man, we haven't gotten to watch any of that yet.
Well, you should.
Yeah,
We
you
want
should.
to.
Like we said before on the show, I have no experience with the source material because I just didn't like the art. I've been around the comic books a lot when I worked in the comic book store, and people kept recommending it to me, and I just couldn't do it. I kept looking at it and be like, no, I don't want this. I don't want to look at
I
this.
don't want to read this.
But and I honestly, I kind of still don't want to read it because I want to be surprised by where the show's going, because wow, I was really into this show. It's fairly comic booky, but it's nice to look at. The visual effects on the deer kid are pretty impressive, and just really interesting, really heartwarming. Like it really does these moments very well. It takes its time to not be overly dire, It's it's a post-apocalyptic thing. Like there's some sad and messed up things all over this show, but it takes time to appreciate that there's still beauty in the world, and it does it very well. It left me feeling overwhelmingly positive more often than not, which was great, even though, terrible things were happening. But boy, what a show. It was great. Great show.
I was very surprised how receptive I was to it, given that it's a show about a post-apocalyptic world resulting from a global pandemic. I was like, I don't know if I can do this right now,
is this a
but
little
I
too
think
soon?
We're enough out of the dark of COVID-19 that and the difference between the fictional pandemic and the real one is enough that I can swallow it, and I can appreciate the parallels and the commentary that the show is making on, a pandemic world, because there are definitely some interesting things that the show has to say.
Now you got
There's
me.
a guy who
Watch
like
this.
there's a quick scene that doesn't really ruin anything, with two guys in hazmat suits that are like supposed to be, I don't know, they're supposed to be doing something, but they need the hazmat suits, and then they're taking a break, and the one guy takes off his gas mask and everything to smoke a cigarette, and they have a conversation about like, what are you doing, and oh, you're just believing all this crap, and we don't really need all this, and it's just a big lie. And then the guy who's like basically an anti-masker gets hit by a truck.
Nice. Nice. The only way that properly should have ended.
Yes, exactly. So
That's awesome.
enjoy some Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, highly recommend that one. That's an absolute winner.
It will be celebratory viewing content when I am not like working to death on this comic, because I have a deadline for the end of the month, and I'm working on it. It's only 4 pages, which is good, but 4 pages can be a lot. So
Hey, that's 4 pages more than no pages at all.
I am proud of you and excited to see it.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
I did wanted to make comment, like, because of how active and how busy she is right now. Like, there are certain things that I've wanted to watch that I've pushed aside because I want to watch them with her. Like, Loki has started.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God! Yes, we
Oh, we
also
forgot
watched the first episode of Loki.
So
And we did it on Wednesday afternoon because we're home by ourselves because the kids in school. We're like, let's
Nice.
watch the first episode of Loki.
how
Boom,
was it?
we did.
How was it? It's good.
Oh, 5 thumbs up.
Okay, cool.
It's just
Damn.
Yeah, I'm like chomping at the bit. Like, I'm waiting for just a few minutes for us to sit down and be able to watch that. And also that show that we were talking about, Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
Yep.
Like, that, a couple episodes of that is available. Like, I want to sit down and watch these because, like, I am super intrigued by both of those shows, and I really want to sit down and enjoy them.
Yeah, we'll chat more about Loki next time when you guys have seen a bit of it, and I will at least personally check out Kevin Can Fuck Himself if Kris isn't interested.
Yeah, by the time we record our next episode, I should actually be able to have a normal life again. So,
Huzzah.
Life is generally a good thing.
yeah.
I'll also just throw in, because it was very, screen oriented. The E3 happened this week.
Yeah.
I'll be talking about it nonstop on the Stone Age Gamer podcast, which we're recording late so that we could have, discuss all of the things that happened. But mostly watched it via YouTube, but it was broadcasting on a number of different channels and in strange ways. But I similarly. Not I guess not all that similarly. I got an assignment, so I'm also on a deadline, which is fun to say. But
nice.
They announced a new Metroid game, and I get to be the one who writes the preview about it. So I'm like, I'm out of my mind today. It was just earlier today, and I'm still buzzing from it.
Was
It's
that
like it's
humming
been
noise?
vibrating this entire time we've been recording, but also like I sat and watched the Nintendo E3 Direct exclusively because like I didn't want him to have to waste time telling me all the cool things that happened. Like I'm like, I'll just put it on like so that I know I'm already caught up and he doesn't have to like
Nice.
slow down and explain it to me. And so I'm upstairs in the living room and he's downstairs in his like command center watching it, and I'm upstairs and I hear like all this like excited noises like through the floor. I'm an entire
Excited
floor
nerd
away and I can
noises.
still hear him.
That's so awesome.
I look, and that doesn't usually happen when I watch these things. Like I can usually like keep my excitement under wraps, or I'll like not keep my excitement under wraps. Like I usually don't try and hold it in, but I always get pretty excited. But it takes something really big to get me the level of excited and surprised that I was today. I was completely knocked off my feet by this Metroid announcement that blew my freaking mind. I couldn't have predicted it a trillion miles away. And not only that there was the game announcement that it was, but that the game's name was what it was. It's I won't go too deep into it, but it was a hell of a viewing experience today.
That's a pleasant surprise for you because the last couple were just meh, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the last couple of E3s have been, there's been some cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, like, they showed new footage of Breath of the Wild 2. And that was not the highlight of the show.
Okay.
And it looks amazing. Don't get me wrong. That Breath of the Wild 2 footage is like, I don't know what's going on, but I like it. But that was like, I knew that was going to be there. That had to be there. A new 2D Metroid game on the Switch that's called Metroid Dread blew me a freaking way. And it looks so good. Can't take it. Can't take it.
Hey, Kris.
It's going to be a fun show. Yeah, what's up?
You excited?
No. Honestly, it was rather boring.
I give it a 2 out of 5. I mean, it's not
it's so
horrible,
cute.
but just,
Lots of good stuff. But to bring it back into more of a connection to what we talk about is one thing that was strange about this. So E3 didn't happen last year because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And in its place, a couple other companies tried to do something similar, tried to gather together a bunch of companies to release new game trailers and stuff like that to do their own thing. They continued this year, even though E3 was back. So
Oh.
it kind of became this weird, almost like the situation we have with streaming services, right? Like, now it's no longer centralized. Now there's these different factions that are all happening at the same time, competing for your eyeballs. And
That's weird.
on one end, it was kind of cool because it was it felt almost like going to a music festival. Like, I used to go to this music festival called the Y100 Fez when I was young. And you would go there and be like, there'd be a main stage, a side stage, and a third stage.
Right.
And then you'd like see the schedule and be like, all right, well, I'm going to catch these. I'm going to catch Green Day, but then Guster's playing over here like 5 minutes later. So I'll leave part of their set so I can go catch Guster on the side stage, but then make it back for Weezer, these kinds of things were awesome. And this kind of felt like that, where there wasn't a lot of, overplay, which was nice, but it was, I would have liked it a little bit more if it was a tad more organized ahead of time. For some reason, E3 didn't give out the exact times of the shows until like a day or two before the event, which was weird. But either way, it was a neat show, and it was a very interesting viewing experience. And kind of like to see more things like that happen. Yeah, the end.
Cool. I'm glad you actually enjoyed it, because I via the conversations via the messenger, I knew that it was going to be a long process, and that you and Dan, in preparation for recording of SAG, that you had a lot to watch, and I'm glad that it was worth it for you.
Most of it wasn't. Most of it was dreadful. In fact, the Verizon show was so bad, I was literally laughing out loud.
What
Right?
the fuck?
So there's a Verizon show at E3. What the hell is Verizon going to announce? Well, I got to see this. So some jackass walks out on stage and he's like, "So yeah, we're Verizon. You're probably wondering why we're here at E3. It's the biggest gaming convention there is. So what do we got to announce? The best 5G network in the world." And they kept saying they had a football player come out and read stuff off of cue cards that was like the least natural conversation ever. They said, "Change the game, 5G, the next level," over and over. I mean, I'm talking dozens and dozens of times. And this presentation went on for a half an hour. It was amazing.
Wait, is it 5G already a thing?
Yeah, I don't understand this.
I don't know. They kept talking about how their new 5G network was going to change the game.
Oh.
What the fuck, Verizon?
For the gamers, TM. It was it was amazing. I mean, I almost want to go back and watch it again. Just
Wow.
one of the worst things I've ever seen. Just a constant slow motion train wreck. Couldn't look away. All right, that's going to wrap things up for what we've been watching. We're going to take ourselves a quick break, and then we're going to run through an extraordinarily long news cycle, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening in the world of television. You're watching and or listening to this week's episode from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, the world's longest one-shot is still going. Yes, Matt Ramo, Matt Much, and their friends, who I can only assume are also named Matt, have been playing through an excruciatingly long and hilarious D&D campaign on the Geekade Twitch channel. And what was supposed to be a quick couple of week-long endeavors has become an ongoing festival of madness. Will this finally be the week when they finish their story? My money is on no, but you won't know for sure if you don't tune into the Geekade Twitch channel most Saturdays to watch the world's longest running one-shot. Check the schedule for more information.
Next, did you know that there's a new Super Mario Little Golden book? Yes, you can read an officially licensed Super Mario bedtime story to your pets and children right now. But did you know that this isn't the first time this has happened? Back in the magical year of 1989, Nintendo licensed another Little Golden book called Super Mario Bros. Trapped in the Perilous Pit. It's completely insane, but it's got personality to spare. So how does this new Super Mario book stack up? Only Kris is brave enough to bring you the head-to-head comparison you deserve. Check out Stone Age Gaming Super Mario Little Golden Book Throwdown on Stone Age Gamer. On the Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
And tell him how much you like his lighting.
Please. I worked very hard on it.
A lot of effort.
Finally, it's Pride Month, and I've got Pride pieces up on my shop. Oh, you didn't know I had a shop? I'm the proprietor of Shoot the Moon Stitches, an Etsy shop full of fun feminist fiber art for all to enjoy. In addition to all the cool stuff I have listed, I also take commissions, so if you have something you'd like to see in cross-stitch form, let me know. And those Pride pieces I mentioned, they're Pac-Man themed, and they can even be personalized for a nominal fee. Check out Shoot the Moon Stitches for all your stitched stuff needs.
For all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on Geekade.com. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about some news. First up, from HollywoodReporter.com. That's Hollywood because it's about Hollywood.
The H.
Hollywood. Nothing but challah bread. French toast for days. Batman animated series from J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves coming to HBO Max. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I be
I've
honest about
always
this?
felt that Batman needs more lens flare.
I just want more Batman animated. That's it. I don't care who's doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then.
I'll tell you what I care of whether Batman is doing. Oral sex.
That's right. There was another fun story
Wow,
that
that was
popped up on.
heavy-handed at all.
What a
I mean,
segue.
this is neat and all, right? Batman, Cape Crusader. Sure, this is fine. I love it. But also on Twitter, it came out that the one of the people who worked on the Harley Quinn cartoon tweeted out that DC asked them to remove a scene in an episode of Harley Quinn where Batman was going down on Catwoman because, quote, heroes don't do that. To which pretty
That's
much
why they're
everyone
so
on the
angsty.
internet was just like, meanwhile, Superman's over here eating whatever the hell he wants. The internet's reaction to it's been hilarious. But also, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Which part?
All of it?
All of it. Heroes
Yeah.
don't do that? Are you kidding me? Like,
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I didn't read this because we just discovered it and I don't do the Twitters. So my knee-jerk response is like, okay, well, is this because of the fact that like, you know, usually they're advertising this stuff to kids and this is like a knee-jerk thing and everyone's just freaking out and going like, hey, you know, you people like superheroes are humans too. Okay, that's great. But like, that's really not a thing that's ever a focus in comics. Why does it need to be a focus in cartoons?
well, that's the Harley Quinn cartoon is not for kids.
Oh, it's the adult Harley Quinn. Like it's that one?
It is.
Oh,
Still,
okay,
it's still
okay.
the adult Harley Quinn cartoon, but it's still based on DC properties, which someone who's sitting down and storyboarding that has to go, hey, do you think we can get a cunnilingus scene with Batman? Like, that's not going to happen. They're not going to allow that. No.
I mean, that show has a lot of fucked up content. So now that I understand the context, I thought you just meant like an animated Batman and like it happened to be a Harley Quinn thing, not the Harley Quinn cartoon that's been out. I thought that was done for some reason.
No, it's still going.
Okay.
Actually
'Cause-
quite good.
Yeah, that's a
in,
great show.
In this article from the Hollywood Reporter that you mentioned, there is a tweet from Kevin Smith and showing panels from the Green Arrow comic that he wrote for DC, where, you know, Oliver Queen took care of business.
Oh, they had, when they did the New 52 relaunch, when that first came out, one of the things that they had done was like issue 0 of Catwoman, I think it was. I ended up completely refusing to read the series because they like overtly implied that like there was a lot of sex happening and they were not subtle about it and it was still aimed at kids. Kevin Smith tends to write stuff that's usually more for their mature audiences. I'm okay with that, but it's got to be marketed appropriately. Like,
Yeah, I'm not
it's
saying
a Harley
like,
Quinn cartoon. It's an adult cartoon. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not arguing the point of whether or not like. I'm saying that in the realistic universe of like the idea that doing that is not okay. Like
So
the,
that's
what
what
I
you're
take
talking
issue
it-
with is a DC executive saying heroes don't do that.
Yeah, it's absolutely the justification, quote unquote, of their decision more than the actual decision itself.
Okay, so it's
To
the,
me.
I
it's
got
the
it.
line that they
it-
used to justify. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't want to depict Batman going down on Catwoman in any sort of form, like you just don't want that to be an official thing that DC's name is behind that image. Okay, I understand that. You want to have a specific image of Batman, whatever you want to do, that's fine. It's the justification that heroes don't do that. That was the part that was like, really?
Yeah, I didn't read it that way at all. Okay.
It's a weird
I
it's a
understand
weird
what you're
stance to
saying.
take, but okay.
All right, I see what you're saying.
I'm reacting purely on verbal, like not reading anything, just verbal information right now. So I didn't even pull that part out of the context. That is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, that was the quote for that was the actual quote was heroes don't do that.
And apparently neither do you, DC Executive Director.
Yeah. Anyway. Less crotch-focused news. We're on Engadget. Resident Evil Infinite Darkness premieres on Netflix July 8th.
You guys gonna watch it?
Not me.
Yeah,
I know
probably not.
it's spoopy, but I'll watch it. I'll tell you how it is, because I like Resident Evil stuff. I was too scared to play the game, so I read all the books when I was younger. So seeing that there's like now an animated thing that I can watch, I am so down.
There's been a couple, if I'm not mistaken. Like we started talking about doing a Resident Evil movie rewatch. I think we made it through 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, we made it through 2 of them, and then we were like, we
that's
love
enough.
you, Mila, but we've seen enough.
That's enough.
Yeah, I heard mixed reviews on those Resident Evil movies. I have never been a big Resident Evil fan. Except Resident
You're not
Evil
a horror
4.
guy, right?
Resident Evil
No.
4 is one of the best games I've ever played. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, whatever the heck. I just don't like them. For some reason, Resident Evil 4, that game's amazing.
And this takes place following the events of Resident Evil 4. Interesting.
Still just like, I'm not interested. Nah.
Well,
I
yeah,
I didn't love Resident Evil 4 because of the story. I just liked playing it and the tension that it built as a gaming experience. I'm not all into the Resident Evil mythology, but I'm happy for Resident Evil fans that they get a cool new show because it looks like a cool
Thanks.
new show.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm pretty stoked about it. And also, I agree. I played about 10 minutes of Resident Evil 4. I threw down the controller and went, nope, never again.
That game surprised me so many times. My absolute favorite moment that ever happened in that game, I got to this point where I was out on a lake and there was a sea monster in the lake that you had to fight. So you get on a boat and you're throwing all these like harpoons at it. And I lost the first time I got out there. And out there, I threw a couple of harpoons. Eventually, I got eaten, and that was the end of it. It's like, okay, that was cool. So I died. I start back on the beach. I'm like, all right, let me explore the area and see what I can do before I get into the boat, right? So I'm walking around, and I get close to the edge of the lake, and you can actually see fish, like little fish swimming around in the water. Like, that is such a cool detail. But because it's a video game, in order to get a closer look, I had to draw my gun. Was like that's the best way to get free aiming of your camera. And so I drew my gun, and I see the fish, and I'm like, I wonder if I can shoot the fish. So I shot a fish, and I was like, boom, okay, that's neat. You can shoot the fish. So then I shot another one, and when I shot the third one, the sea creature instantly appeared and ate me. Scared the shit out of me. Dropped the controller and everything because it's this perfectly serene thing. I'm assuming the sea monster's way out in the middle of the lake where I fought him last time. It's like, nope, just like bang, bang, bang on. You are dead. And I just dropped the controller and could not stop laughing. It was one of the funniest, most amazing things I've ever seen happen.
Listen, Kris, don't fuck with fish.
Well, Resident Evil was always good at that because, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first time I've ever scared by a video game was Resident Evil, and it was
dogs?
walking down the hallway and the dogs jumped through those fucking windows.
It was one of the most notable jump scares ever in a video game. And I don't really like jump scares, but this one was, because this was a hidden thing. You weren't supposed to do this. This wasn't like something that naturally, organically comes up in the game. This is a hidden Easter egg.
It's a
Unless
hidden
you're
jump scare?
ridiculous enough to just be wandering around looking at the fish and then seeing if you can shoot them in this one spot, you're not going to see this happen. But
Unless you're Kris.
unless I did, and it was hilarious.
Nice.
Anyway, let's move over to slashfilm.com. Parks and Recreation band Mouse Rat is releasing an official album including 5,000 Candles in the Wind. We go now to our resident Parks and Recreation expert, Karen Randazzo.
I just think that it's great that they're doing this. I have no idea why they're doing this. It's not like, I don't know, I guess it's the anniversary of Parks and Rec. I don't know. But it's funny. I went and paid the money for the digital version. Kris talked me out of actually buying the vinyl.
But you're collecting records, Kris.
I'm collecting records that I genuinely want to listen to. And if she was going to actually put this on and listen to it regularly, I'd have been fine with it. But wasn't the vinyl like stupid expensive?
It was more money than it was worth, especially considering that, like, I think there's 15 tracks and it looks like 3, possibly 4 of them are covers of like kind of classic oldies that they played when they were playing the old person sweetheart dance on the show. So like that's nice, but like I don't I want more original Mouse Rat tracks like Sex Hair and The Pit. And I would have appreciated some Johnny Karate music, honestly.
Yes.
That would have been nice too. But this is still a cute thing.
I tried to explain Lil Sebastian to Evan. It didn't go well.
I just finished a Lil Sebastian cross stitch. I'll have to send you a picture.
That's one of the funny things about the Little Sebastian joke is that for those people like me who just don't get it, there's Ben Wyatt, who's his entire thing through the whole thing is, I don't get this.
Yes.
He just looks at the whole thing like, I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Yep. I loved him because I think that was what was the best part about his character is that he was sort of like the realistic relief. Like he's that person who's coming in and he's like pointing a finger at like all of the absolutely ridiculous stuff in this show and somehow just enhancing the comedy of it all by pointing out its absurdity.
The show's genius.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. EmpireOnline.com is telling us that the Wheel of Time fantasy series scores second season as first wraps. That's right. Another one of those wonderful situations where a second season has already been greenlit before anybody's even seen the first season.
Has anyone read the books?
I have not. It is a fantasy series by Robert Jordan. An ex-girlfriend of mine was very into these, and I started to read the first book, and I thought it was pretty neat, but then she told me I was reading it wrong. And so
Are you reading it upside down again?
I just I've never been much of a reader, and I started to like kind of let my imagination run wild. And she was like, "That's not how you do it." I was like, "You know what? I'm out of here." Long story.
It's okay. That's why she's ex.
I'm excited for Robert Jordan fans, and I'll check this show out.
We have the whole series, and I'm currently on a fantasy kick with the books I've been reading. So I may actually try giving the first book a read before I watch the show. Or not. I don't know. It might ruin it for me. Yeah. All of the books that we have on our top shelf of books from 1 to 14. Although 12, 13, and 14, if I'm not mistaken, were written posthumously by another person standing in for him. But using all of his notes.
Which is weird because he's not dead.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
That's the ones my dad got. All right.
Yes.
All right,
Evan inherited the series from his dad, and it was like really cool to see them in such good order too, and they're well cared for. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, huzzah!
Huzzah, indeed.
All right, let's see here. Where are we? This is Deadline.com informing us that Henry Cavill to star
Cavill. I don't know.
Henry Stevenson to star in Lionsgate's Highlander reboot from Chad Ski. Mike Wazowski.
I guess I care about Highlander now.
Yeah.
This is now a thing I care about.
My friend Jed was a huge Highlander fan growing up, and I like the first movie. It's not good, but I like it.
There should only be one.
There should only be one. There should be only one. I mean, it's a movie with Clancy Brown and Sean Connery in it. Like, it's freaking weird, man. I don't know. I haven't seen like any of the TV show, and which I know a lot of people loved at the time. I did see that movie that crossed over the movies with the TV show, like tied them all in together. Mm-hmm. Highlander End Game, I think it was called.
Something like that, yeah.
Boy, oh boy. That wasn't great, but you know, the idea of Highlander is nifty. So sure, they're slather on more of this guy, huh? I'm in.
I mean, he gets to have a sword, right?
It's Henry, yes.
That's all I really need is him.
He's gonna have
to
cut off at least one head in the movie. That's how this storyline goes. So.
Well, the article actually said they don't know exactly what they're doing with this storyline because, like, it was always a weak plot to begin with, and I think that maybe they're trying to like update it. And really, no one's gonna be there for the story. Let's be real about it. So,
well, I mean, if you want to look at it from that, I mean. It's not like She-Ra was riveting television and they turned that into a decent story. If they can turn children's commercials into decent stories for modern television, I'm sure they can do Highlander some level of justice. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. But nobody's going to show up for that. So it's not like I'm not going in expecting, miracles here. I'm just going to go in and be like, yeah, go be a badass, Henry Cavill. I'll watch.
I want this to
Henry
be
with
fun.
the sword.
I want somebody to chop off somebody's head.
Yeah. Come on, HC. Give it to me.
Pile it on. Well, that was fun. Let's see. Next up, Variety.com. Naomi, All-American spin-off ordered at CW Powerpuff Girls pilot to get reworked off-cycle.
And that's really the headline we care about.
Powerpuff didn't even make the pilot.
Yeah, from what I heard, the script got leaked, and it was just horrendous and not good.
It's not a good idea. I don't know why they're pursuing it.
And well, they say that it's been so well received. I think the idea was that when they put it out there and it didn't get shit all over, or they just didn't listen to us, which they clearly should have. They were like, let's do it.
Are they confusing getting attention for well received? Because the attention it got was, why the fuck are you doing this?
I mean, this is the CW.
That's true. Valid point.
They've renewed, everything.
Their slogan is, we'll do anything.
Yeah.
Did that stick to the wall? We'll
Except
take it.
for oral.
That's true. All right, so
Do
Sorry.
anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, I hope it gets reworked right into the garbage can. Speaking of garbage, The Hollywood Reporter reports Garbage
that was
Pail
good.
Kids animated series in the works at HBO Max.
I knew that was
What?
coming, and I still thought it
Another
was
one.
good. That was a good one.
Thank you.
What the fuck?
well, it's Danny McBride, and come on now, that's the right brain to be behind Garbage Pail Kids.
Okay, fair point, but what is this show? Who is it for?
I'm not watching it. I hated Garbage Pail Kids.
I
They
don't
grossed me the fuck out.
understand.
I know that was
morbid
the
curiosity
point,
is the
but
only
I've
reason I'm gonna
never
turn on.
enjoyed intentionally being grossed out. I was never the kid that looked like, ew, that's gross. I want to lick it. And kids, friends of mine would be like, oh, we got to get these Garbage Pail Kids cars. I'm like, why? And I was like, yeah, you got to see them. They're all gross. I'm like, okay. And then I'd get them. And they're like, these are awful. I don't want to look at any of this. This is just disturbing. And then I'd play with something like Mad Balls, which was also kind of disturbing, but in a kind of a more fun way.
If
Because,
you
they
think
were
about
little
the things
balls
we
with
grew
funky
up with,
faces on them.
If you really step back for a second, there were some pretty horrific toys that we played with. Just not.
Yeah, apparently there was something called Boglins out there. Do you remember those things?
No, but I'm sure if I
I
saw
think
it,
they
I would
were a
remember.
British thing, to be honest with you. This person I follow, Jim Sterling, they have recently been buying lots of Boglins and putting them on their show, and it's been very entertaining. I totally missed these things. They're just
Oh,
these
yeah.
weird little funky things that come in cages. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, they were little puppets. I remember those. Holy shit! $157 for one Boglin out of box?
Yeah, the collector's market on that stuff's gone insane.
That's ridiculous.
So I'm going to just put my 2 cents in here and say I don't like any of this. I don't like the fact that they're still continuing to just play off nostalgia when creating content because they can't think of anything new. And I'm getting tired of it, even in properties I like Batman. I would like something new and fresh. There, I said it.
No, sir. I don't like it.
You're right. I don't. And that's why I'm excited for other things.
There you go. That's a
Deadline
segue.
reports.
The next
Angie
one.
excited about Firefly Lane, reviewed
Yes.
for season 2 by Netflix. Strange that they know about your excitement levels, but yes.
And why
Firefly
didn't they
Lane.
mention mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
is kind of weird.
Angie's
Stole
letter
your
writing campaign
thunder.
was a little stronger than yours. Sorry.
It's because my grandma looks like
Firefly
Katherine
Lane.
Hagel. I don't know.
Netflix keeping this shit alive. Let's
That's-
make it happen.
I mean, it's not shit, but
No,
it's,
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean shit. I mean keeping this shit alive. I mean, I didn't see this, but I was kind of interested in it just because I like these two. I mean, Katherine Heigl, I could kind of take or leave. I've liked her in the things that I've seen her in, but I've also, any time I've ever seen her not in character, she seemed kind of not nice. But I think Sarah Chalk is awesome. So
She's one
I
of my
don't know.
favorites.
their season 1 ended not necessarily in a cliffhanger, but the whole season worked towards
It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I mean, it worked towards explaining why why they were so close, and then the last scene was like, nope, something, flash forward, something happened. These characters never want to speak to each other again, and we don't know why.
Well, technically, one of them never wants to speak to the other one again. And they were dropping strong hints that it had something to do with the daughter.
Right. So I'd like to know what that is, and hopefully we will find out in season 2 or beyond.
Well, fingers crossed. So let's head over to Entertainment Weekly that posted the story that... this is completely insane. Terry Silver will bring the pain in Cobra Kai Season 4. Now, I remember when Season 1 wrapped on this show, and Martin Kove showed up as John Kreese. And I thought to myself, how exactly are they going to make this work? Because one of the things that works for me about Cobra Kai is that it is slightly more grounded in reality than the Karate Kid. Now, I'm not saying it's grounded in reality. I'm just saying by comparison to the original movies, it's more grounded in reality. Mm-hmm. And John Kreese was a freaking cartoon character.
That's correct. But they grounded that cartoon character.
They gave his cartoonish existence a real world reason to be. Like they gave him a decent justification for being the kind of creep that he is, which was fascinating. Mm-hmm. But if he was a cartoon character, Terry Silver is like just full on Hanna-Barbera.
So if Kreese was a cartoon character, Terry is the cartoon that Kreese watched while being a cartoon character.
I mean, he's full on Snidely Whiplash twirling his butt. Terry Silver was the bad guy in the, let's say, less than great Karate Kid Part 3, whose, like, his story was he was like 80s coked up business guy that's got all this money, nobody knows why, and he dedicates a lot of it to messing with Daniel on behalf of John Kreese. Like, I mean, he hires a guy to be a martial arts expert and convince him to compete in the karate tournament so that he can be beaten and like Cobra Kai can be the best. Like, it is bananas, and it is just like, wow. Mm-hmm. Karate Kid 3 is not a great movie, but it's been referenced in Cobra Kai before. Like, they don't shy away from the fact that it is part of continuity, so it makes sense for Terry Silver to come back, and they did a great job of setting him up in season 3 of Cobra Kai. I don't know what they're going to do here. I don't know how this is all going to work. I think it would be really fascinating to see Terry Silver in some sort of like not doing well in life, because he seemed like the kind of sleazy dude that would be like on some sort of, he was the guy from Die Hard, Hans, Bubby, yeah. I'm your white knight. Like, he's that guy.
Yeah, he had it coming.
But he didn't die like that guy did. So I don't know. I'm very interested.
This is radio, not television.
So far,
Put the gun down.
They haven't steered us wrong yet, Kris. So let's see what happens.
Have faith.
Oh, I have complete faith. I just find it utterly fascinating. And you know what? If they're willing to go down this road, I can't help but wonder how far behind what's her name is, the next Karate Kid. Why can't I remember her name?
Oh my God, I could see her.
The little Japanese girl?
Nope.
No.
The white girl.
Oh. Okay,
not
fine.
Amanda Peet. What am I thinking of?
Wow.
$1 Million Baby.
Yes.
Oh, Hilary Swank?
That's
Hilary
Yes,
Swank.
Hilary Swank.
I think that's technically a Karate Kid movie. It had
next
Mr.
logical
Miyagi
step.
in it, and it took place after Karate Kid Part 3. I keep at this point, there's no way that Hilary Swank's character didn't at least interact with Daniel, right? There's no way Julie and Daniel did not at least meet. So
the fact he knows her name, her character name, Julie.
Just because I can't unhear Mr. Miyagi saying Julie-san. That movie was bad. That is an unfortunate film, but it does exist. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Meanwhile, in slightly less insane news, Variety reports that Jupiter's Legacy Netflix series releases cast as streamer orders Super Crooks live-action show.
Is this slightly less insanity? Because I didn't like Jupiter's Legacy, and now they're giving this another show.
Well, they kind of canceled Jupiter's Legacy and were like, all right, let's try something else in this universe.
Well,
so, yeah, it's slightly less insane.
It sounds like what they're doing, though, is they're actually doing it like an anthology thing. Like, that's what it looked like when I was reading the article. They said they're planning to do it like an anthology series, kind of like they do American Horror Story, where it's like the same cast or the same universe or something.
So I would be okay with that because unfortunately, watching Jupiter's Legacy, I couldn't see the quality of acting past the poor quality of beard. So they could have done a fantastic job telling a story. I just couldn't hear it. So when they continue this anthology, going towards something, because if I'm not mistaken, Super Crooks looks extremely different. Maybe I'll be able to tolerate the story.
Yeah, Lionel, you worked on the comics.
So I don't know.
That's kind of cool.
I'm okay with it.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I know that the Jupiter's Legacy wasn't extraordinarily well received by the handful of people I know who watched it. So
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. Like, if it's the same people, is it going to be any better? But you know what? I say it's worth giving it a shot. We'll get up. Whatever. I'll try one episode.
I also sincerely doubt this was the original plan.
Yeah.
That's why this whole, oh no, it's an anthology series. Is it though?
They probably just had a deal with Miller or Millar, and he's got a lot of titles under his belt to work with. So
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, if they can redeem Iron Fist, maybe they can redeem this too. I'm only using that as a segue to say, by the way, I watched an episode of season 2 and I still hate you.
It's a shocking turnaround.
Moving on.
Moving on. Nerdist reports Why the Last Man series gets a premiere date.
yeah.
I'm so ready for this. I'm so fucking ready for
When is
this.
it?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I was gonna say, do you believe it yet? Because I know you guys have been like, this show is never gonna happen.
I mean,
So-
yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been picked up and dropped and started. It was going to be movies, then it was TV again, and I don't even know. But, like, it really looks like it's happening. They've casted people, and those people look like they're really going to do it. So
Hey, it's not far out. September 13th.
yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean,
That's,
they wrapped up, right? Like, they're almost done filming? Or
I
done
would
filming?
imagine so. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
coming out in September, they've got to be pretty close to done. So
Yeah, I can't remember.
Probably in post-production by now.
if
Yeah.
this is good, then I am thrilled.
Yeah, I hope it will be. And now I actually have to finish reading Why the Last Man, the series. So
Oh, how far did you get?
I don't know. I'd have to look at my trades because I think I have the first 3. I have the first 3.
The end is rough.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, and I don't mean like bad. I mean like, oh,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
I remember being fairly gutted at the end of that, but what a book.
Yeah, I mean the story was good. I love anything Brian K. Vaughan writes, so I'm always down, and I'm really hopeful that this is going to deliver. So
Me too.
yeah.
Speaking of things that deliver, at least for me, Deadline reports Shadow and Bone renewed for season 2 as Netflix reveals viewership data for fantasy drama. Apparently the show did pretty ding-dang well for him. I enjoyed it enough to watch more of it. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Happy
I
for you
hope
guys.
it's good.
If
I'll
it's
be
more
watching.
of the
Yeah.
same, I'm in.
We will most
I
likely
would
watch
like
it.
to follow more of that story. But there's not more of that really. I mean, okay, yay, it's been renewed. Here's the real beef. Nerdist See Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy in The Boys Season 3. And we've got a picture. I didn't even recognize him. I looked at this picture for like a little bit and it's like, that's not the same guy. Oh, yeah. You just really got to focus on that beard.
Yeah. It's
Which, thank God they trimmed it up.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen pictures of him between the wrap of Supernatural and him starting to film this, he got a really scraggly mountain man beard.
he was doing
Quarantine going on.
he did a long grow in so that he could trim it up to look nice.
He looks good. trim beard. That's a handsome gentleman right there. I mean, he
Yeah.
looks good.
That is
Clean
the
cut.
understatement of the millennium. He looks good.
I don't want to make all other men feel inferior, but Karen.
I'm sorry.
Actually,
I'm like sitting 10 feet away from my husband.
They
I can't
literally
help it.
turned literally turned the guy into Captain America. I mean,
Only
if
the
there's
evil
anything
version.
that speaks to you more than this, I don't know what it is.
I mean, I understand that the character is not Captain America.
Yeah.
It's the boys' version of Captain America.
But,
I,
oh my God, he looks good.
Yes. Yes,
the
he
costume
does.
redesign's pretty great too, because his outfit in the comic is fairly garish. But yeah, man,
Good
this
word.
yeah, good work, boys. Good work, all. All right, somebody needs to explain this to me because I don't know that I understand. I don't know that I understand it, nor do I believe that this headline is as accurate as it says. Fanfest.com reports The Punisher. John Barenthal is back as the Punisher in an upcoming Disney Plus series. He'll fight another Marvel hero.
So here's what I past this did a little bit of research. A while ago we talked about all their contracts being up. And their contracts they now have contracts with Disney. So all of these characters have the ability to show up in other Disney Marvel products or shows.
Yes.
And the rumor mill is churning hard because they're talking about Barenthal being in Moon Knight.
Well, did you read who he's supposed to fight?
I've seen a couple of different things. What did you see?
The thing where it says he'll fight another Marvel hero.
Yeah.
That's a direct reference to Moon Knight.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
It probably locks it in officially that this is going to happen.
But this is also coming from FanFest.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
last paragraph says whether or not this will still happen is up in the air.
And that's the
At
thing.
I
any
didn't
rate,
see
we
that
certainly
part.
hope this is true.
Oh, yeah.
Then don't put that in your headline, you clickbait jackasses.
So that's why I did my due diligence before posting. It was just the imagery on this one, and this tied it into Moon Knight better than the other ones that I'd seen. I had seen Jessica showing up in She-Hulk because of the law and there are a lot of ties, because Jessica and I can't remember, She-Hulk worked together in the comics, and they were also in Heroes for Hire at one point in time. So there are a lot
Isn't
of ties.
She-Hulk's name also Jessica?
I think I didn't want to say it out loud, but I think it is. And
I think that's what's throwing me off because you said that. I was like, no, that's right. That can't. Wait a second.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Jessica Jones?
Jessica Jones, and they worked together. She hired her as a private eye.
Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer, yes. So those are the rumors that have been churning on the internet, and then I saw this one. I'm like, I can't not put this up here because I would love for this to happen, and it can. I want it to. I'm putting this out into the universe. Make this a thing of reality.
This is Evan's version of The Secret.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there in the universe.
Putting it out there into the universe.
To manifest it.
Make it happen for Evan.
So,
Please.
you know, if you get your bearded Jensen Ackles, come on now.
Yeah. Listen, we all have to get our thing, okay?
Yes, things will be gotten
Unless you're Catwoman.
unless you're Catwoman.
Including things that
I'm
I
not
want.
going to let that go, apparently.
No, you will not. Which, listen. Oh, man, I can't even say that reference. Never mind. Moving on. I'm really excited about another thing, like Lock and Key Season 2, Chris.
No.
Did you just skip over? How
one of the
very dare you?
coolest articles in here.
How very dare you? This comes from GamesRadar.com. This one brought me a lot of joy. Cowboy Bebop Netflix series gets fall release date and teases first look at John Cho's Spike, which is all cool, except the real news here is that Yoko Kanno, the composer behind the iconic soundtrack of the original Cowboy Bebop anime, will be creating the soundtrack for the new live-action series.
Sorry, I'm just not excited about it. I never watched the anime, and I just don't care.
We're gonna watch the anime. I'm gonna make you watch the anime.
You don't even watch anime.
That's the
Listen,
thing.
I've
I
watched
don't
all
even
of
watch
this.
anime either, and I can get behind Cowboy Bebop.
My dad liked this show. Like, Cowboy Bebop is not your typical anime. It's a different thing, which is why this live-action adaptation is similar to why The Last Man gets me pretty goddamn nervous, because it's one of those things that, yes, it has some anime tropes in it, but there's a very different feel to this show than anime. It's very self-contained. It is those episodes and a movie that's totally optional. Like, it doesn't really add anything or take anything away. But the music in this show is indisputably fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I know the music is good. Yeah.
So the fact that they're getting Yoko Kanno, hopefully playing, the seatbelts or performing it as well, back in the driver's seat as far as doing the music is super awesome. It was really cool to see the characters, like they see the actors sort of in their look as their characters for the show.
I could have sworn that was in this article, that there was a video of them sitting down for an interview, and it's each one of them by themselves, and as they're getting ready to start the interview, the interviewer goes, "Okay, you ready? All right, 1, 2," and then the music kicks in.
Yeah, it's if you go down to the tweet from Netflix that's
Okay.
in the article, the video is attached to that.
It's watching them just listening to the music, and then it just, like, you could see that it was real, like they weren't prepared for it, and then just that music just takes you over.
That theme song, the song is called Tank, and if you've never heard it before, it's so good. I mean, this soundtrack is out of control good, and there are a lot of songs in there that
Good stuff.
Man, oh, man.
Good stuff.
I'm stoked for this show. The fact that they got Yoko Kanno doing the music has put a lot more of my mental unease at ease. I'm still very curious how they're going to handle Ed, but we'll see.
I feel weird about a lot of stuff when they do like anime to live action too, because like they have a really hard time with like the anime look of characters translating to real life people,
Yeah.
and like cosplayers make it look really easy and cool, but I've never seen that effectively translate to live action stuff, and I think I'm just...
Well, that's the difference between live action television and cosplay. Cosplayers are going for a true representation of the anime. When you're doing it in the show, that won't work. Someone dressed up as any of those characters true to the anime won't work in real television.
But like that's one of the things that makes a lot of anime characters iconic is those looks. And that's where I struggle a lot with adaptations. Also, I just realized like you guys were not just busting my chops. I opened this link out of order, so I'm sorry that I skipped it. Like
that is okay. They're already
my
taking
tabs
some
in
pretty
order.
strong liberties with the characters. Like first off, Jet's a black guy, and that's great because the guy's name was Jet Black, for fuck's sake. And just this guy seems perfectly cast for that character's attitude, so that's great. The girl looks a lot like Faye, and John Cho, with that hair, like
It's perfect.
That's the thing, like it doesn't look exactly like the anime, but it looks like what that hair would look like in real life.
Yep.
So I just think this is great. Again, very cautiously optimistic, but I've been itching to do a Cowboy Bebop rewatch anyway. So
you guys
Anyway.
watched where did you see all of the looks?
You see where it says Netflix Geeked?
Yeah.
That's a
Oh, click
tweet.
see more.
If you open that
Yeah,
up, you
click
can
see more, and
it's-
then you can see this little video of them all reacting to the music, and that's. I don't know that they're wearing costumes for the show. I would assume that they're not, because Jet never wore anything even remotely like that in the cartoon. Jet's much more, just wearing garage clothes. But yeah, I'm into it.
Cool.
So, speaking of stuff we're into, Nerdist reports Lock and Key teases season 2 images and release date.
I can't remember. Did we finish Lock and Key?
Yeah, I was mad at it, remember?
No.
Oh, that's fine.
I remember.
We should do
We're
a
very
rewatch.
mad at it.
Yeah. We can do a rewatch, because I had enough time away from the comic that I feel like I can accept
I
that
remember
it's
being
not as good.
mad at it for the entirety of the time we were watching it, but I can't remember if we actually finished the season.
We did. We finished watching the season because I was mad about how the season ended, because it took everything out of continuity, and I was like, I don't even know what they're going to put into season 2.
I got it.
Like,
I remember now.
Yeah. So I
Right,
was
they
hoping.
ended season 2 in season 1 in such a weird spot.
Yeah.
So they can still, they finished season 1, where the book ended, but then, kind of looped around. We're like, but
We got a couple more
I'm
episodes.
fascinated by it. I think it is such a weird way of telling the story, and while I ultimately would have preferred they just adapt it, I think if you're going to fuck with it, doing it this way makes it really interesting.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm hoping for. So one of the things that I've realized, since the whole Shadow and Bone thing, is that I'm very unforgiving of a first season being entirely used as setup for a second season of a show. And I expected, because Lock and Key's story was so good by itself in the comics, and I have it in as 3 large volumes. So because they were released in this format where I was reading them in volumes, each volume standalone is magnificent. And so I carried those expectations into the show, thinking that each season, if they canceled the show after that first season, you should still be satisfied with everything that happened. And I wasn't. I was absolutely not happy at all. And so I'm hoping that what they're doing in the show is taking all of that inspiration and kind of going in another direction of exploration. And I can forgive it if the second season makes up for what the first season lacked for me. Because there's a lot of really important
I
stuff.
loved the first season. I was utterly fascinated by it. I thought
too
they
forgiving.
portrayed visually things that I just couldn't imagine being in real life. With the art style in the Lock and Key comic is very comic book. It's like you were saying with anime, that artist was very Captain Sameface, and how are you going to translate that so well into live action? And I think they handled it really well. I was just very much enjoyed watching that show for what it is, as a direct adaptation of the comic book. It was weird being like, well, I just read this, and it's weird that this is happening so out of order. How far are they going to go with this? And then they went that far, and I was like, well, where are they going to go?
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
And
so
I
I want to see where it goes. I'm very interested.
And we will see where it goes in October.
I have hopes for it. I think it's also going to be hard for me to just be open to it because of the way that they took that first section, the mind key. The way they changed the mind key affected a lot of aspects of the storytelling that are key later in the story. Pun intended, bitches. And I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it because it changes everything about the storytelling. Okay, moving on. I don't want to get re-mad.
Too late.
Same story, different medium. Anyways. So, this is just a YouTube link. Netflix showed off the first trailer for Masters of the Universe Revelation. It sure looks beefy.
It looks great. It looks great. So good that I reposted it, not realizing that character posted it.
Posted not even just like literally the same link.
Yeah, because it's a YouTube link. We probably both saw it in the same place. We should talk about this.
I'm ready.
This is nostalgia on top of nostalgia on top of nostalgia. This is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, they're not reinventing this. They're just making more He-Man, and they're making it look better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's that's what you should do. Yes.
For all the stuff I watched as a kid, this was one of the few things that I've only seen like a very small amount of and always wanted more but never knew how to watch it. And now like seeing this happen, I feel like I get to capture a part of my childhood that I missed out on.
I just love that they haven't modernized any of the designs, like
Nope.
in any way, shape, or form.
And it still looks dope.
It is so 80s, and
Orko
Sure.
shows up in this trailer. There is a split second where you see Orko, and I was like, yes, yes. That little flying wizard had to be in it. Damn it, yes.
I don't even know. I'm into it. I'm 100%. I used to love He-Man when I was a kid, but
So, side note, speaking of He-Man, Angela and I are helping a friend of ours work on a Kickstarter, and his name is Kris Campana, and he is an artist who loves him some He-Man, and we are trying to figure out a way to work him a what is that thing called? Not an icon. His
Logo, avatar.
an avatar.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And because he loves He-Man, specifically Man-at-Arms, so much, he wants his avatar to be his face with that helmet. And we're both sitting there, and I don't know if you know that character by name, but it's the green guy, and he wears a helmet. He's got a big horn mustache. And if you just look at a still of it, it looks like a penis head.
Yes,
Straight
it
up
does.
does. And we're like, yeah, this is gonna be your avatar, and we're proud to be a part of it. Proud to be a part of it.
I feel like I'm making history.
Good stuff.
It's going to be magical, so, look for that helmet, guys.
speaking of magical and not other stuff, Variety.com reports She-Hulk series at Disney Plus casts Jamila Jamil.
Yay!
What villain is she playing? Does it say?
Did it say it in this one? I saw it in another article, and now I can't remember who it is.
I don't know She-Hulk, so I
I
think
don't
I
either.
probably read it and it fell out of my brain because I don't know.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere. Hold on.
Yeah, what she's known for. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
this
we-
article doesn't have it.
She will reportedly be playing Titania.
Okay. That's
Let's see.
if I'm not mistaken, a metal, like a
Wait, but it's... Titania? Okay.
yeah, not Tatiana.
No, I just read that, and I was like, wait a second. JK, everything's fine. I can totally
Tatiana
read.
is not playing Titania.
The
No.
emphasis is on the other syllable.
I'm just excited to see more of her in something else.
Yeah, she was so awesome in The Good Place.
Yeah.
Did you see what she was doing? Like she was doing a game show type show with Impractical Jokers.
I did not, but that doesn't surprise me because, like, prior to The Good Place, that was her job. She was what they call in England a presenter.
Okay.
She had zero acting experience prior to The Good Place.
Okay.
Good
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah, it's a weird where they're watching. I think it was like YouTube videos or something to that effect, and they're figuring out how poorly it's gonna go, how horrible the video is gonna turn out. So it's like two teams, and the Impractical Jokers, are just funny guys. So she does a good job.
She's very entertaining. I didn't know that she had no acting experience, but good on her, and she's in a good place for this role.
Oh, get out of my house.
I'm not sorry. I'm not in your house anymore.
Get out of my house.
I'm at the window.
All right.
You creep.
All right, TVLine.com delivers some bad news, sort of, maybe, I guess. Zoe's playlist boss urges fans not to give up in wake of cancellation. Quote, I refuse to believe the show is dead.
And
Oh, rubbish, filth, muck. Boo, boo, boo.
Boo. I agree.
I mean, yeah, they want this to go to somewhere else like Peacock, and I hope that it will because I really want more. The show is great, and people love it. People love it. This is what I don't get.
Right. Why did
Paul
it get
Feig
canceled if
said,
people
he's
love
like,
it?
I feel like it's 21 years ago all over again when Freaks and Geeks got canceled. Like, yes, exactly that. Freaks and Geeks was another amazing show that he was involved in that got canceled too soon. What are you doing, NBC? Knock this shit off.
Karen has spoken.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree. This is just one of those things that you got to look at something like this and the groundswell behind it, and I'll never understand the world of TV executives. I don't know what they want out of this show that they're not getting. I guess that more viewers, more traditional TV ratings, like that's it's just not what it's about anymore. And I think this show has the audience that it has, at least some of the audience that it should have, and could probably do better elsewhere. I don't know. Hashtag save Zoe's playlist or whatever it is. Do that. Go online and yell and scream at the top of your lungs to bring the show back.
You're correct.
Please.
Save Zoe's playlist is the hashtag.
It is. At the very least, get it one more season to wrap itself up. Let the show run a course.
Let Skylar Aston sing to me.
Yes. Let him sing to all of us and warm our cold, dead hearts.
Let's see. TV line. Psych 3. Alan Maldonado joins Peacock threequel as a spoiler. Psych's still going?
No, so that's why I said I know this is a movie, but it's about Psych, okay? And I loved that show. Apparently there's always been the plan of having 3 movies after the fact, and they're finally getting that wish granted. So apparently Gus is seeing a woman, and this gentleman, Alan Maldonado, is playing her ex. So, but they're just making another Psych movie, which Lassie Comes Home was great. Like this, it's just more Psych, and I'm happy to be a part of that because I will watch the hell out of this.
I'll join you.
I like that the subtitle of the movie is "This is Gus."
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well,
Lassie Come Home. Come on now, that's just funny.
Gus deserves the time to shine, you know?
I don't disagree. I never was able to get into Psych, but I feel like maybe I would if I gave it more of a chance. But who has that kind of time?
It's true.
In fact, I haven't even seen the last season of Castlevania. Speaking of which, we talked a little bit recently that Castlevania was canceled, but they're probably going to do something else. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. You know, you've wrapped up Castlevania 3 pretty darn tightly, and there's so much other Castlevania lore you can pull from. And look at that. They're diving right into possibly lore-wise my favorite era of Castlevania, which is from the such a nerd.
Yeah, yeah.
Move on.
Yeah, the Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, which is the reason that this is a smart move is that. So the Castlevania series was based on Castlevania 3, which introduced the character of Alucard, who came back in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, set hundreds of years later. So the Castlevania spin-off is going to be starring Richter Belmont and probably eventually Alucard and other characters from that universe as well, like Maria Renard. Set in 1792 France during the French Revolution. I'm totally into it. I'm very excited.
I'm snickering over here, not because of your intense love for Castlevania, but because our son had a play date this afternoon, and that was one of the pieces of game trivia he chose to share with his friend was, "Hey JJ, do you know what Dracula spelled backwards is?"
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And like this kid he's playing with has no idea anything about Castlevania. He's like a very like traditional modern, you know, he's into Five Nights at Freddy's kind of kid.
Yes.
That and Roblox
like,
and
you know what Dracula is spelled backwards.
So cute. He's such
Adorable.
a nerd
my son's
kid.
over here sharing my joy for Metroid Dread. So
Nice.
yay.
You know, I gotta be
Baby.
honest. I tease you about this stuff, Chris, but I actually do really love your knowledge of the lore because I've said this before. It's a lot of stuff, and it's hard to follow if you're not a really big fan of it. So, like, it can be intimidating, and you're just helping to simplify it a little bit.
Oh, well,
Appreciate
you're
you.
welcome. On a super fun and completely absurdly ridiculous note, so like I said, this is going to be based on a game called Rondo of Blood, which never released in America officially, and it was on a super obscure game system, and somebody's actually releasing that game this year, like on the original Weirdo system. So like the 8 people that still have a functioning Turbo Duo in America can get an officially licensed, fully translated version of Castlevania Rondo of Blood for the first time.
Nice.
Complete insanity. I love it.
For the real fans out there.
Yeah. Castlevania. All right, thedirect.com tells us Hulk's son to appear in She-Hulk Disney Plus series. What? Scar, son of Hulk, is showing up in what?
So
I feel like the show is going to be bonkers.
That's yes, it has to be bonkers. So our mutual friend Jared the other day posted something about the MCU, and I said what I want to see from this current iteration of the MCU, because Disney is buying every possible title that they can and now having full access to the Marvel Universe, I want to see World War Hulk. Mm-hmm. Okay? That is one of my favorite Marvel epics. Okay? Covers every Marvel character that has shown up ever. And now they're introducing Scar, which is a child that Hulk had while he was off planet because of the Illuminati, which was Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Reed Richards. Like, they can do that now. Okay? What apparently this is, the Scar is from that time period where, you know, dumb Hulk got into a plane and flew away and came back. I don't really remember how he was able to fly a plane being dumb Hulk, but still,
Jarvis.
He flew away and he was gone for a bit. So apparently in that bit of time, he had a kid. And now there's going to be a legal comedy about it.
Yeah, this article is saying that Scar was conceived on Sakaar, which was the Jeff Goldblum Pleasure Planet. So, like, that actually happened in the MCU. Hulk went there.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like...
Will Bruce Banner have to pay alimony?
And does MCU Hulk even know this character exists?
Dude, it's all up in the air, Chris. These are all unanswered questions that we have to wait.
Look, the more
She-Hulk
important
to get
question,
answers.
and I know Karen wants to know, is did they do oral? Because, you know, superheroes don't do that.
Cracker. So they keep saying a law comedy, or like as if that's a normal thing on television. Like
Haven't
a
you
legal
ever
comedy.
watched Law and Order?
No. They call it a legal comedy.
Sorry.
Is there another legal comedy that I'm not familiar with other
Yes,
than
there
Night Court?
is. The Grinder.
The Grinder, Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Okay, all right, I stand corrected. I'm sorry, because the only one I could think of was Night Court, and I'm like, is this where we're going?
What was Matlock?
That was a mystery.
Oh, okay.
It was a legal mystery. Like, he solved the case whilst solving the crime.
Okay. Cool. I guess.
So, yeah.
Well,
I'm
we've got
just making
one
more-
left.
I'm like
More excited.
laughing deliriously at this point.
Theatermania.com. Gaston and LeFou.
Did you say Gaston?
Just like I
Sorry,
said, bros.
Gaston and
Thank you.
LeFou series with Luke Evans and Josh Gad officially announced at Disney Plus.
I'll slap a bitch. I was so excited by this article.
I have mixed feelings.
Okay, go on.
On the one hand, you could not ask for a better Gaston and LeFou than these two.
Yes.
They were great in the live action Beauty and the Beast, which I know people had mixed feelings on. I mean, they were pretty explicit in that movie that, like, LeFou has got the hots for Gaston.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
So I am wondering how much of that is going to be put into this show. So, you know, I think it has the potential to be watchable and to have some interesting stuff going on in it. I don't know how thrilled I am about centering, like, an obnoxious villain like Gaston in a show. Like, I don't feel like maybe that character deserves his own show.
Okay.
I feel like this show is going to make fun of him and it's going to be about him failing constantly. That's honestly what I feel like.
I mean, I hope so. I hope they don't try to make us like him, because
how could we
Gaston
know where
sucks.
and we know how he ends. He's not likable when it ends. So like, why would I ever like Gaston? I'm excited because I get LeFou and I get like, hopefully maybe, I don't know, was there going to be a musical number in this? I don't remember.
There has to be.
But I mean, I guess I can see your point too. I don't want it to be something that like glorifies his villainy.
And it's not necessarily about whether or not they make him likable. It's just like, I don't know that I just don't like the character, and I don't know that like, it's like, oh, just let's put and make it lit. Here was a movie that was about a girl and a beast and an outcast and whatever. Let's make it about the white guy that was in the movie. Let's make a show about that. Like, ugh. Okay. I know. I mean, I know I'm like, I have a reputation at this point for being like a raging feminist or whatever, but like, really, I don't know if I care about watching this.
Okay. Well, it also includes a third character, which
Right,
I'm assuming
which
is
I
that black
feel
woman
like-
in the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not
Like-
all about...
And then theoretically speaking, if they continue the storyline or continue with the story that they used for the live action Beauty and the Beast, LeFou is homosexual. So there are other
right.
aspects of that other than just Gaston being the white guy.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just, I have two minds about this. I'm cautious about it. I'm not
proceed with caution.
totally in the tank for this. I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but if it does end up being done well, I think it has some quality elements going for it. So I guess we'll see. Jury is out.
Theoretically, because Tony nominee Leslie Tomei will serve as executive producer, I'm going to assume there will be lots of music in it.
Okay. And also knowing that like Brianna Middleton is part of the principal cast, I don't think that it's going to go the way... I think it's safe to be a little more optimistic than cautious. But yeah, I guess we'll see, because we don't know a whole lot. And like, I'm wondering if this is going to be something where it's trying to paint him as like... I don't see, the thing I'm trying to figure out is, when was he a soldier, and is that part of what made him the way he is, or are they going to turn it that way? I don't know. But I'm curious, because I liked the way that these characters were portrayed by these actors, and I don't know. I want to see it. I want to see it before I say anything else.
There's a good parallel to this, which is that there was the Hunger Games trilogy of books, and then there was going to be the author announced, like, I'm going to write a prequel to the Hunger Games, you guys. And everybody got really excited because everybody loves the Hunger Games. And then she said, and the prequel is going to be about President Snow as a young person. And we were like, really? That guy, the old white guy who ruined everything? We don't necessarily want a story about that guy. Mm-hmm. And I didn't read the book, so I'm not going to pass judgment on whether it ended up being any good or not. But the point was more like, here's a story about a young woman heroine who's like awesome and kicks all kinds of ass, and like, we're going to make another book in her universe to like, to expand the world. But instead we're going to focus on someone who's not her, who like...
The villain. You're going to focus on the villain.
You're going to focus on the villain, and you're going to focus on someone who like made everything worse for her. Like, why are we focusing our attention in this world on that aspect of it?
Yeah, to me, that's not like when they're doing like, how Disney's doing like the villain series and they're kind of doing like rewrites. This is not that. And no. I don't think they're going to be able to do that with Gaston, because if they did do that with him, I wouldn't be interested. Like, I liked seeing Gaston fail because he was a villain, and I liked watching the villain lose. You know, if they try to make him sort of heroic, it's not gonna work for me at all.
So, we'll see.
We sure will, unless we don't watch it. That's gonna be me. I still haven't seen the live action Beauty and the Beast. I just don't want to. But hey, I'm happy for people who want to watch this and get something out of it.
Yeah, you didn't see it because you weren't the aunt of an 8-year-old niece who's like all about it when it came out.
Well,
True.
Not for nothing. We did just watch the live action Cruella.
Yeah.
And it was quite good.
It's fun.
Dalmatians killed her mom.
I mean, it was. I
Not
like her.
gonna let go of
One
that
of
one.
the stupidest things of all the ridiculous shark jumping bullshit. Dalmatians killed her mom.
Let's be
Yeah,
realistic. The fall killed her mom. Okay, actually, the not necessarily the fall. It was the abrupt stopping at the end of the fall that killed her mother. But
It was actually lung cancer. She
Dalmatians
died on the
didn't
way down.
no, the Dalmatians absolutely did not help the cause. I understand that. But come on,
I thought it was perfect for the absurdity of the world they were creating.
and that's
I still
exactly
haven't watched it. I can't do it.
there. I mean, honestly, there is one scene in the movie that it's actually worth watching the movie to see when there's this car chase and she doesn't know how to drive and she's actually behind the wheel driving, and it looks as if they made the cartoon real with Cruella de Vil behind the cartoon version of Cruella de Vil behind the wheel. It's the elbows and the arms and everything. It was
The way her whole body, her
it was
posture
done
in that
so
scene.
well, and that crazy eyes and all of that. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah, like hold on, I wanted to see it because I feel like I could picture it from the movie. Like her eyes were all red and
It was when they were escaping the party.
yeah, like she's like no, but I'm talking about like the original movie. Yeah, there's a scene where she's driving and you can feel the embodiment of the character. It is so well done. It is so well done.
But yes, true, Dalmatians did kill her
Yeah,
mother.
but it is. It's ridiculous. It's utter absurdity. There's no doubt about it. I had no idea how they were going to take the character and put a twist on it, and I wasn't really sure that I wanted that. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it anyway because I like Emma Stone, and I was not disappointed. She did a phenomenal job. The cast was great, and giving it the way that the movie presents itself. Like I keep saying, the absurdity of that world, it makes it all viable. Like
They're not trying to make it realistic at
Yeah.
all. So
Then why make it real?
to give Emma Stone a paycheck,
I have
I'm
a
okay with that.
fundamental disagreement with these live action Disney things, and I'm not a huge fan of the whole. All right, what's the next Disney villain we're going to humanize? Let's make them all. Let's make it all happen. And whatever it is, what it is. I'm happy for people who enjoy it because I'm all about letting people enjoy things. You want to like it, then like it, have fun. I'm into it. So what I'm not into is being awake anymore. So it's time to wrap things up. That is going to be our show. Thank you for listening to me scream. This week's episode is not filmed before a live studio audience, but it is fueled by feedback from listeners like you. And you can get in touch with us in a multitude of ways. We have an official Geekade Discord, where there's an entire This Week's Episode channel dedicated to all things TV talk. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram through the official Geekade channels or the more specific Twepcast accounts. And of course, the four of us can be found in various ways. I'm available on Twitter at Geekade Kris, and you can read my work at StoneAgeGamer.com and in the pages of Nintendo Force magazine. Karen, where can people find you?
You can find me and my work basically all over the internet at STM Stitches on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Etsy.
Angie, where can people find you?
You can find me on social medias at AFernot, AFERNOT.
And Evan, where can people find you?
All of the socials at Geekade_Evan.
If you need to know more about the shows we discussed tonight or what we'll be watching in the future, have a look at our show notes. And if you have any other questions at all, we can always be reached at mail@geekade.com. Just include the words "this week's episode" in the subject line so we know who the heck you're trying to reach. This show is available anywhere fine podcasts are sold, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. And wherever you decide to listen, please like, comment, subscribe, and leave reviews, because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, as always, keep your eyes on Geekade for more fresh, original content. So, our next episode is going to be a proper TV discussion episode where we'll be talking about Danger 5, right?
Yep.
That's next? Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Excited.
Danger 5, I Danced for Hitler? I think it's episode 1, season.
Spectacular.
Yeah, that's a listener request.
Yes.
I'm
That is
sorry.
a listener request from Ferg, the host of the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast. One fun thing that Ferg does on his show is that he reads what people tell him, like leave comments on Facebook stuff or whatever. He reads that on his show. So his next episode is about Taz for the Atari 2600. So I said, all right, I'll leave you some feedback, but you have to promise me you'll read it on the show. And then I wrote out a bunch of phonetic Taz noises.
Oh my god.
Exactly. So give a listen to the next episode of the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast and hear Ferg make Taz noises. You're welcome.
That's so
You're an
great.
evil genius, honey.
I was proud of that. I love Ferg. All right,
Me too.
that's good. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gonna explode and think about Metroid some more.
And one more special thing is happening between now and the next time we record. So I just want to give a special shout out to the host of this week's episode. Kris Randazzo is turning 40 this year. It's his birthday. Give him some love. Show him,
You're old.
hit up the
Welcome to the
socials
club,
and
sir.
tell him how much you love him and love the podcast and say happy birthday.
Aw, thank you.
Do it.
I
You
felt
won't.
old since I was 20, so it's nice to finally have the age to back it up.
Nice.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. I'm Chris.
I'm Karen.
I'm Angie.
Oh, whatever.
Good night.
You guys want to hear the Justice League song?
Yeah.
Yes.
Batman is in the Justice League. And Wonder Woman's in the Justice League. Green Lantern's in the Justice League. They're in the Justice League. Superman's the Justice League. Martian Manhunter and Flash and Hawkgirl too. They're all in the Justice League.
See, now, because you're singing it that way, I can actually picture the intro of their silhouettes, their colored silhouettes going through.
I really want that to be our intro for the night.
Yeah, I'm still recording it. Don't worry.
That was
So,
the best thing ever.
And this concludes our broadcast day.